So, good morning, everyone who has joined us for another Fry Talks, Sales and Marketing Fry Talks. So, any marketing is worth only as much as its ability to support the company's sales, right? And same time, the ability to work between sales and marketing teams is very critical to really make sure that this digital marketing effort brings the sales growth and company benefits from that. And in this episode, we decided actually to talk about the sales and marketing cooperation and alignment and how to make these two work together. And therefore, we invited today Vīgants Lesausks. Welcome, Vīgants. Yeah, and why we invited the Vīgants, because he actually has a tremendous experience and practical sales experience coming from both large corporations like IBM, Microsoft, Ericsson, but same time he spent quite a time working for startups, and that is even more valuable, I believe, what he can share with us all today. And so let's kick off the discussion and let's see how we actually can and if we can make both sales and marketing working together. And first, maybe question is that, usually basically marketing, when it starts the engine and goes after the leads, it tend to bring a lot of leads. So really can be big volume of leads what marketing can generate. And then the question is how to prepare the sales team and how to prepare the sales processes to really handle all these leads.
Yeah, first of all, hello, and it's really nice to see you all. And I see in chat that some old friends are there, so yeah, welcome. And so you actually mentioned a good word, engine, and I would compare the sales team like a car factory, just a factory for signing contracts. Yeah? So end of the day, from sales teams is expected contracts with certain quality, with certain terms, and so that's what we do. And marketing, to some extent, is like supplier of parts. So imagine you provide tires, you provide doors, and different things. So so to organize sales is something like that. And the more you optimize the process of working with leads and working with customer yourself and being very productive with the time you have, the better. And when we first encounter marketing or agency like you, the thing is, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes the CEOs come in and say, "Oh, can you give me like 1,000 leads for like €5 a piece or €1 a piece or something?" And said, "Of course we can." And this is similar, like I'm going like purchase department at the factory and saying, "Can you provide me with the tires for €5 a piece?" "Yeah, sure, I can." And then I get a box of tires, different sizes, different utility for tires. And then in the factory line, the guy looks at it and like, "Hey, half of it doesn't fit. It's actually not what we wanted." Yeah. So the trick between sales and marketing typically is to synchronize the expectations, what we consider to be a good lead. And there's always the discussion, can the leads be better? Of course they can, but then there is less leads and they're more expensive. But think about it as a cooperation between supplier department that provides something and sales. And the more there is discussion between those two groups of people, the more understanding how one and another works, the better you can optimize. And for CEOs, think carefully when you are describing what you want from marketing campaign. It's the number of leads is like really, it's important, but be careful just to focus on the number of the leads or cost per lead. It might not be the thing you really want. Yeah.
That's absolutely a very good point, and we have touched on this in our previous conversations as well. What actually is important to look at in terms of measurements, and whether the number of leads is the right way of looking at the performance of your marketing and overall as a company, right? But yeah, let's continue on. You had some point as well to mention, right?
Yes, I wanted to ask, like, as a sales expert, as a sales leader, when you are receiving lead, what would be criteria that you would be looking at and being able to make a judgment that, okay, actually this is a quality lead that our sales team really needs to invest time in working with?
Yeah, so let's understand what sales does. Sales get some leads, and of course, not all leads that come in turn into contracts. Actually, most of them in typical company, like 9 out of 10, are somewhere lost or decided not to follow up on them. Yeah? So, and then there are marketing leads that maybe this share of leads that does not convert into contracts are even bigger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's say at my team, where we really look at the quality of leads that we work on, we have 24% conversion rate, which is super high. But why?
It is actually.
Yeah, but why is because we do disqualification, which is super important part. So the first job sales does, and it's not intuitive, but decide, is it worth my time? This certainly, like, prove yourself that it's worth your time. And how do you do that? That ask if the lead has 5 key criteria. Does the lead meet 5 key criteria? Or you can kind of discover those criteria very, very fast. So those criteria are very simple. First of all, do you have contact with decision maker? Or you have a way to get there, like clear path how you get there. Yeah, so at least you understand, okay, who is decision maker, and that you have understanding how you get the meeting, or at least the communication you will send to the whatever person you're communicating will be delivered in timely and quality manner to the decision maker. That's like at least that one. If not, it might not be good opportunity to work on invest a lot of time.
Yeah, because you simply don't speak to the right person, right? So you may spend your time with somebody who is not making decision, or even not close to that.
Yeah. Of course, you're spending educating, discussing with somebody who don't even have a power to decide, or don't have all the pieces of the decision to make a decision. Second thing is confirmed need, and by confirmed need, I mean a customer is a decision maker, or a group, or board, or someone is actually told, yes, this is what we will need eventually to solve. At least the problem is confirmed. Maybe not the solution, but the problem is confirmed. Because too often we encounter people who are interested in something, but I'm just looking around. Maybe one day we might change something. Yeah, like, do you actually have a problem? Not yet, but it's good to know everything. I mean, these are the most dangerous people, because they will eat your time like crazy. Yeah. And again,
I would add to this as well. So I think one is to understand whether they have a need, but secondly, I don't know, sometimes you also need to combine it whether they really have a problem and how big is the problem, because they might think that they have a need, but then there is no problem, and then they basically have no rush, no motivation to solve it.
You can look at yourself. At least I can look at myself, and probably you have similar. Like, you have a nice car, everything is fine, but once in a while you still open website to look like what kind of good cars out there are. You still have three years contract pending, I mean, on your lease, and you are not about to change, or I don't know what should happen for you to change. But again, am I lead that I'm looking at I don't know, Porsche Carrera? Not really. I don't have a need yet.
From marketing perspective, you probably will become a lead because you have clicked on the ad, you have visited the website, and then start to retarget, you and show something. But as you said,
am I good enough lead for salespeople to call me, arrange a demo, test drive? I don't know, give me a Porsche for a weekend right now. I don't know. I don't think so yet. Yes. But better is to understand, okay, in 3 years, maybe in 2 years, then I start approaching test driving and seeing like where we are. So again, is the need actually confirmed? Third is timeline, decision timeline. Sometimes we have this need, but I don't know, customer says, yeah, but we will need after 2 years when we start building that office. And so if the customers say, I need a Windows, okay, good. When do you need? Like in 3 years. Why? Because we just started drafting some project and don't even have. So if you understand the timeline, you also can understand that a lot of things must happen before you actually will have your chance to approach.
Yeah, actually the timeline also gives you a bit of better understanding where the person currently or the company is in their process. As you said, if they interested and this is a decision maker, but same time like the project just started, they're just drafting it. So which means that in terms of when these windows will be really needed for them, it's maybe a few years still ahead, right?
Yeah. Of course, it depends on product. Some products are
sure.
bought in half a year in advance, but again, you should be able to understand the timeline of the customer. The fourth one is budget or source of funds, like how the customer is going to pay for it. It doesn't mean you have to ask them, but at least you have understanding that there is the source of funds. Is it financing? Is it already some funds, or they are about to save or sell something? So, but again, I might want to have a Porsche, but it's like just I want it. But if there is no way I will have enough money to buy it, then why waste so much sales time on that person?
Yeah, you basically need to understand whether it's just a wishful thinking or it's a real demand, right?
Yeah. And it happens often with the products, and especially if we talk with non-decision makers, they kind of pretend that they have, but actually they don't know if they have funds. But CEOs and decision makers immediately will tell honestly, okay, we plan to budget next year, but right now I just need to understand the amount of money I need to budget. Okay, it's clear. You don't need to spend too much time on it. You have to just give a honest number, how much approximately it's going to cost, so he can budget or make a preliminary decision that this is where we're going. Again, you don't need to spend 3 days drafting a detailed offer, and in the pipeline you have high hopes up that this deal is going to happen in 2 months. Not going to happen. Forget about it. And the fifth one, which is super important but so often missed, is our capability to service. Can we actually meet that need? Sometimes customer comes in and they are very clear what they want. They have budget, there is decision maker, there is timeline, everything is cool. And the sales are so excited about such hot lead, they jump on it, and then they try to sell the customer to the technical or project department. Okay, we need this customer, he's so ready, he has money, and we need to do this custom thing for this customer because, again,
it can be a terrible problem. I used to work for a while with a drone company, which had quite a lot of requests coming in from all over the world. And what I quickly understood was one of the most important things is to figure out really early if customer can be successful, right? Because even if we manage to sell, even if we manage to get money, but customer cannot be successful at the end, it will just create a publicity that nobody needs, right? And that's a real disaster. You have spent so much time, customer has spent so much time invested, and suddenly they end up with something that they cannot use because they had some illusion that, let's say, they can cover instead of 100 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers with the same aircraft.
Yeah, but in the sales, it's like the sales people are so eager to fight, but they are not fighting their own game. And they most probably will lose because there is somebody else who has out-of-the-box solution for similar price and experience. And,
Vīgants, Yes, I have a question to you as a sales expert. What do you do in cases when, let's say, the pressure to deliver to salespeople increase? So they are very motivated to show larger pipeline, and they are tempted to take really bad deals into their pipeline and report that they have these opportunities and so on. How do you check that actually they are really properly qualifying the customers?
Do you want like truly honest opinion?
Yes, of course.
The manager of that salesperson is idiot.
If that happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally his fault. Yeah, but why? Because we all want motivated salespeople. We want them to go out. But at one point, we look only at number. That, okay, you haven't sold. If you don't deliver this number, you are fired.
Yes.
What happens? We put all the responsibility on that salesperson. And of course, the person, to save his job or reputation or something, will do whatever it takes. And that manager needs to clearly say, no, it's not going to, and it has to happen early. Because imagine this random deal or complicated deal comes in December, end of the year. For sales manager, for sales person, it's the only chance to save. Like there is no other options. Of course, he will do whatever it takes to get this deal through. And then it's much harder. But if you stop this opportunity early and say, no, it's not going to happen. It's not good fit for us. This customer is not good fit for us. Our product will eventually not be good. Yeah? Of course, you have to be grown up and have to make really good and responsible decisions, because you will save time and down the line you will save. But again, if the sales manager is motivated to deliver, he is on board with the sales guy, and then the problem is literally open the doors to technical departments, throw it in and close the door, and it's not our problem anymore. And then we have those fights down the line with the delivery guys or project managers, like what you overpromised and what the hell is going on. And we're not talking just sales, because all the marketing effort, because through that we maybe started generating more of those leads that actually are not good fit for us, because there was cool lead in, I don't know, in France that somebody wanted this product. Maybe there's more. Let's do some marketing on that.
All right, but then we come. Okay, but then we come to the perhaps most important question, at least to those listeners who more represent marketing side in this broadcast. What would be your advice how to work together between sales and marketing, so that marketing does really things that matter to sales, and ultimately that marketing helps sales close the deals in the best way possible?
It's a very broad question.
So one thing you can do deal reviews. And deal reviews, I mean, won deals and lost deals. So if we signed some deals, like what is the customer? How did we found this customer, or he found us? Like where does customer come from? Maybe we can replicate that source and grow on it. Right, but really understand where exactly it came from, what happened, why the customer showed up at our doors, or we showed up at their doors. And see if you can do. That's one. Also do the same for lost customers where we have invested time. Yeah. So like post-mortem in case. So we invested time, but we didn't sign. Then we look, maybe it wasn't our customer. Why the customer was able to get so far in our pipeline then? Like what we did wrong, where we didn't do the qualification, why we didn't ask the questions early on. And let's say we spend half a year, a lot of resources, and find out that this is not a decision maker. Like how this happened, or that customer needs totally different product, or the problem is not what we thought. Like and it might happen in sales process, somewhere in sales, and it might happen in marketing, especially if of course marketing generates a lot of leads, and you can't know everything. Yes, but maybe there is something that we should avoid in the future, like certain type of customers, or certain type of industries, or something. Yeah. So when we know that, we can learn, adapt, and maybe increase or decrease our investment into marketing in that area, or we can kind of change something, ask some early questions, or so. So yeah,
And
that's one. And this is only possible if all the data is captured all the down to the customer. That means marketing team has all the data, it passes to CRM, and the sales team in the CRM also adds like what kind of communication was there, how often, and when we found out. And third one, be honest, like super honest about what happened. When you win and when you lose, honest what happened, because you can't learn if you are not honest with yourself, with
if
your
you're hiding
teammates.
anything,
Yeah.
I agree. And I think there are some
one-
parts what you said, like where marketing potentially can help, as you know, the leads is going through, and you learned all this kind of, as you mentioned, through the post-mortem and or deal review type of activities. You learned, okay, what triggered the good deal and what in opposite way triggered the bad deal. You can actually use these learnings and insights to implement your scoring model, so that you can early enough in automated or semi-automated manner actually filter out different type of deals, so whether or opportunities or leads, so whether they are good or not good or risky or anyhow else, and then you basically capable of focusing on more valuable activities and leads instead. Yeah.
Sure. And this scoring goes market by market or on industry by industry. It's different sometimes.
Yeah.
And but the good thing is that this data today is so available. You can get so much data. The question is the data actually looked holistically
Used.
or
If it's used.
analyzed? And they looked at it and analyzed holistically, or it just somewhere sits and sales guy receives just name and the phone number or email address, and that's it. Like, where did it come from? What was the
Yeah.
thing? And
My
it doesn't
experience
go
also
back.
shows that it's matter of overall mindset in the company as well. So we had some cases where, for instance, as you said, like people come to us or to their own marketing and say, hey, we need like 50 leads per week. And why do you need that 50? Of course, we understand on one hand, but on the other hand, why exactly that much? And they said, I have a telesales guy. I need him to call every day 5 calls or 10 calls, whatever it is, right? And then they start basically to consider this 50 leads as a main KPI to measure against. And then this is the only what needs to be delivered every week, right? And then everything else then falls down and the quality shrinks and everything, because the mindset of the company is basically, or at least of some people, that we need to bring these 50 leads whatever it takes for us, right? Yeah.
You can compare it to that factory. So we have a workstation, we have a guy
Yes.
who does them, no matter what, make sure he's busy. No matter
Yes,
what.
exactly.
Is it good or bad, but he needs to be busy. We are paying salary, so make sure he's mounting tires all day, no matter like how. Is it worth it or not? So don't think, because the worst experience, not the worst, but like really bad experience I had when we decided, okay, let's do outsourcing of marketing activities. Let's have agency call customers and arrange meetings for us, for sales
Yes.
team. Awesome.
Yes.
Sales guys have full calendars of meetings. After like 2 weeks, sales guys say, hey, but like most of them was like nothing. It was garbage. Sometimes even we met there, those customers like, no, it wasn't about that. I thought it was something else. Yeah, a totally topic.
Yeah, it happens quite often if you really focus on wrong thing. If you, I mean, and it's not only like fault of the marketing agency. We have been in similar situations as well. But it's matter of, as you said, whether like these two teams work together to understand how we can make the quality better, right? And what exactly do we need as an outcome? And I think. And my high recommendation and advice would be definitely to marketing people to spend more time talking to customers, as you said, to those whom we won as a customer and those whom we lost, and those whom we potentially want to have as a customer, because you actually can gather so many great insights to build your knowledge about what matters for these people and how do they make decision and how do you actually can help them in this process. That's one thing. And similarly with the salespeople. So, but cooperation should be two ways. It's not never like works when somebody in the power position, hey, bring me good leads, but I cannot tell you what exactly I mean by that, right? And then it doesn't work simply.
But this is the deal review. Like when you do deal review, invite marketing, like be there and marketing people, and just sit there and listen and you will see those things. Oh, I can do that. I can find these kind of deals, because sales don't understand fully where you get those leads. Okay,
Yes.
There's some random site, you pay some money and then leads come in. That's it, how most people think sales. And it's your job is super easy, but and that's why we get garbage. Actually, it's not because of that. It's because sometimes you don't have full picture.
Yeah, and who, by your experience, should own the process, like deal review? Is it something what should be initiated and driven by sales lead, or it vice versa should come actually from the marketing? Because this is also sometimes a question where the responsibilities actually splits or ownership. Of course, it may differ company by company, but from your experience, where it works best?
CEO. End of the day.
CEO even.
Yes, he pays for it.
But on the operational level as well, I mean, the deal review
CEO
can take a lot of
wants
time.
contracts, and he wants contracts in most efficient COO or CEO. It depends, of course, how big the company is. But end of the day, for all this show, somebody pays money for marketing, for sales guys' salaries, for those mid-management.
Sure.
If, of course, sometimes it's a sales director or head of sales or head of revenue, call it like different, depends on how big the company is. But if the company is, I don't know, 20, 30 people, then it's CEO, because this is most important process in the company and it's super expensive. So if the CEO can't track and see what's going on all the way, how much the contract costs, how much we are losing, or when we are this, because again, the salesperson will be afraid to disqualify lead, but you want them to do that. You want them to say, no, I don't think it's worth our time, and that's okay. I mean, that's okay in the sales meeting, because and I can say this is not decision maker. I tried, I was not able to reach, so let's agree, let's throw it out, and that's totally fine. I have more time focusing on good leads. But salesperson is not able, he's afraid to do that because it's kind of wasting the resources because it costs some money to get lead. So what the salespeople do, they jump on every lead like it's last lifeline. But the CEO can adjust this pressure and equalize throughout. And also the CEO can then say, okay, marketing guys, I know you had incentives, number of leads, but let's do different. Now let's change it that you have incentive number of leads, but the conversion, like total conversion, must be at least, I don't know, 10, 15, 20, 90%, depends on company. And then the CEO understands that the conversion comes higher than the number. You can increase the number of leads and budget once you figure out the conversion. Like that.
Absolutely. Conversion is definitely very critical KPI to look at. I personally believe that today's modern marketing, like leader or part of the organization, it should be definitely part of the leadership team as such, right? So it should be not just somebody who is printing leaflets or buying an advertisement or something like that, but really who owns the business. As you said, there are plenty of data. Actually, you own majority of the pipeline. If you look from the pipeline perspective, basically marketing is responsible for 80% of the pipeline cycle, right? And then basically you need to be very very close to the leadership, and it's very good, of course, if the CEO and the culture in the company, as you just illustrated, is very supportive for this type of mindset, but it's not always the case, I think. Yeah,
but I think I totally agree with Vīgants, and I think it's like it should be on every CEO's table today,
Yes.
because technologies exist, marketing exists, sales has been around for a very long time. It should be one of the top priorities on every desk of every CEO to make sure that this demand generation, this sales engine works in sync, because that's the most important part, right? Of course, the other part is delivery, but unless you can sell efficiently, you cannot grow business, and you ultimately have nothing to deliver.
Yeah, absolutely.
And CEO is the one who sees the whole picture, when to increase, when to decrease those resources and pressure on the sales, because the CEO, at least in most cases, must see the whole picture, the end-to-end picture. And that's why I think the CEO should be aware, should be present, and or have really senior commercial officer or somebody responsible for all the marketing and sales process, who has this power to set those KPIs, expectations, and also to kind of set this standard, what we are doing, what we are not doing, and then it works.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for this discussion, Vīgants, and sharing your insights. As time is running out, I think we need to wrap up. And what I understood, and please, guys, share your thoughts on that, is that if you look from this cooperation perspective, one thing is that these teams need to be in sync on the regular basis on the operational level. So it means having the joint KPIs, joint planning, and also some reporting
deal reviews,
review mechanism, right? Secondly, I think the priority for companies to think about not how to generate the big amount of leads, but how to really generate the leads what you really need. And for that, you have to understand what are these triggers, what are the criteria which indicates that this is a good lead for you. And Vīgants just mentioned 5 criteria what can be used. So this one can be applied or something different, but it's important really to have a system in place which helps you evaluate and score your leads. And the learning here is as early, disqualify as early as possible, so that it will be cheaper for you, right? And then the third insight, what I remember from the conversation, is basically that the leadership support is very, very important. So the sponsorship of the leader in terms of establishing proper mindset and establishing proper culture of being open in terms of the quality of leads, in terms of the quality of opportunities, and everything else. So that would definitely be helping having a healthy cooperation and healthy business growth. Anything else, guys, you would like to add as a final note?
I would like to add that I feel we will want to invite Vīgants back, because he has like treasure trove of knowledge and probably worth many additional conversations.
That's absolutely true.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be here. So guys, you can follow me on LinkedIn or just join me. I'm all very open. And if you want to learn yourself, I have a couple of books published, so you can find them on Amazon. And not many people buy them, so if you buy, I will know that you have bought it. So I will check.
Yeah, definitely worth checking on Amazon books by Vīgants. And thank you all, guys, who have joined that live or who are listening now as a podcast. Just to remind that we have these live sessions every second Friday. So please join us with your questions. And today we don't have many questions, I think. But nevertheless, join us on LinkedIn live sessions. And secondly, subscribe to our Sales and Marketing Friday Talk podcast on major podcast platforms. And if you like it, please provide your feedback. Rate us, give us a review, so we know that there is some opinion about us as well from your side, and that definitely will help us improving further. Thank you.
Great sales to everyone. Great sales to everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.